This meeting is being recorded. Does that mean we're ready? No. Are we ready? I think that actually happened to me the last time I was in this pack too. It's a new thing after COVID. Hi everyone. For those of you that are watching on 1340, I am going to encourage you to come down to the pack. First of all, I'd love to see you. We have open seats, but also throughout the course of this presentation today, if you are in your home, in your, watching this on your closed circuit television channel, you aren't going to see me. You are just going to see the screen. But I'm still looking at the camera, which is awkward. So if you are in your apartment or your cottage and you would like to come down to the pack, please do, because you'll be able to actually see me as I talk through things. Otherwise, you'll be looking at a screen and listening to me talk about slides in a slideshow. So today we are going to talk about scam prevention, which is a very important topic. I'd ask that if I say anything that you'd like to add a comment to or ask a question about, just let us know. Cassidy's got a second mic, and this should be a conversational type thing. So I did quite a bit of research to prepare for today's presentation, and I wanted to start out with a few things. So based on the latest data, right now, we are at the point where each year, seniors, which they consider to be over age 60 for most of the things that I found, are being scammed out of $2.9 billion a year. $2.9 billion a year. The average losses by age for any individual scam, you can see them up here on the screen. So over age 80 right now, if you're having some kind of a scam, the average scam amount is $1,500 per scam. And that is a 55% increase from 1 year prior. So do the math on that. If this continues to grow at that pace, you're looking at this doubling every couple of years and just keep growing. It's really astronomical. Ages 70 to 79, the average is $700 per scam. Ages 60 to 69, $500. And ages 20 to 59, you can see it's between $279 and $400. So on average, some of these are a little smaller, but some of these are really whoppers. Interesting data, online scams against seniors have increased 500% since 2015. So in 6 years, online scams against seniors have increased 500%. The average loss for an online scam, so this is all scams. This is mail, text, bank fraud, etc. The average loss for an online scam right now for someone over age 60 is $9,175 per scam. And there were 105,000 victims of that last year in that age demographic, according to the FBI in the United States. 1,921 people over age 60 last year reported losses of over $100,000. So 1,900 people reported losses to the FBI last year in excess of $100,000. So we're talking, these are big dollars. I did some research on identifying the most common types of scams by age group. So think about your age, and we'll go through here. If you're over age 80, the number one type of scam that you are going to be susceptible to is prizes, sweepstakes, and lottery scams. Okay? That's the things that come in the mail. Publishers Clearinghouse. These are mostly mailers, things like that, but now they're starting to come in online and in email. The next most common scam for over age 80 is tech and customer support scams. I'm going to go through details on what all of these are. The third is imposter business scams. So this is fake businesses. Okay, that's the third most common over age 80. then online shopping scams, and then the imposter friend scam. The fastest growing scam in this age group is online romance scams. And I'm going to talk about that. It's very interesting. If you're between ages 70 and 79, the number one type of scam that you are going to be susceptible to right now is online shopping scams. So you're online and some kind of a scam catches your eye and you're going to be susceptible to that. Next is tech and customer support, imposter business scams, imposter government scams. So things like, you think that the Medicare is calling you, the IRS is calling you. And the fifth is imposter friend or family scams. And again, in this age bracket, same thing. Fastest growing scam, online romance scams in this age bracket. Ages 60 to 69. Again, similar to the last age bracket, your most common type of scam is online shopping scam. They know you're online, especially during COVID, buying things on Chewy.com, Amazon, all kinds of things. Imposter business scams, tech and customer support, imposter government scams, and number 5, online romance scams. And in this age bracket, the fastest growing type of scams is all. Every single type of scam in this age group is growing with leaps and bounds. So, romance scams. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So a romance scam is, I'll go to the next slide and then I'll go back. So what's a romance scam, you ask? So these are things that happen online, okay? And so you saw that these are the fastest growing types of scams that are happening. So this is what happens. A senior that is seeking love, you can see it up there, is online and maybe using a dating website or some other kind of online communication tool, and you get in touch with someone that's expressing a romantic interest in you, or vice versa. Then the fake online paramour gains the trust of you as the senior and convinces you that they need money, okay? This has resulted in massive amounts of losses, and I'll go through that in a bit here. You can see here that seniors have lost their homes, have bank accounts drained, have lost their life savings. And it's very important for you to learn a word today. The name of someone that is a fake person online that's engaging in fake romantic scheme or a friendship scheme is called a catfish. Why, I don't know, but that's what it's called. So if you, let's say I'm online and I find a romantic interest online and this person is scamming me, that person is referred to as a catfish. So if you've heard that term used, or if somebody says, are you getting catfished? They use it as a verb now too. It's somebody scamming you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic interest. It could be any fake individual that you've connected with. So if you've heard the term catfish, that's what that's about. So going back to this, so the romance scams, right now, you saw that it's the fastest growing type of scam. Right now, the average amount being depleted for somebody over age 80 for a romance scam is $5,800. People ages 70 to 79, the average amount of loss is $10,000, and in the younger age bracket, $6,600. In 2019, the FBI reported that confidence or romance scams were the second most reported crime to the FBI of every type of crime. So online romance scams are the second highest number type of crime reported to the FBI in 2019. The number of romance scams that have been reported have tripled since 2015. So this is growing very, very fast. So if you are seeking love online, please proceed with caution. In 2019, seniors in the United States lost $84 million due to romance scams. Got taken for $84 million. And then it actually incidentally goes on to say that compares to government imposter scams, which is fake IRS or fake Medicare, for 61 million, and then prizes and sweepstakes at 51. And the last note on here is women are more susceptible to romance scams than men, and they are the second riskiest type of scam for women. So romance scams are definitely an issue. So ways that you can tell if you might potentially be subject to a romance scam. So first of all, you have to be online, engaging with someone online. So if you're not doing that, chances are you're not getting involved in a romance scam, because most of the time there aren't those party lines anymore. People are, if you're meeting somebody that you don't see in person, you're meeting them online. These are some of the lies that those people will tell you. They are very far away. So they're telling you they're far away. Their profile seems too good to be true. You know, they're a retired banker. They have their own island. They're very handsome, debonair, an actress, whatever. The relationship moves very fast. So you start from communicating to going to 0 to 100 right away. They say they're going to come visit, and it never happens. They break promises to visit. They claim they need money, and they ask for specific payment methods. So if you are engaging in online dating, which there are certainly benefits to doing so, everyone needs companionship. Please just be very careful, because online romance scams are the #1 growing type of scam in your age group right now. So moving on to the next most common. So prizes, sweepstakes, and lotteries. In 2020, these cost seniors in the United States $160 million. So typically, this is when the senior gets a call, an email, a piece of direct mail. So this is the mail that comes in, the junk mail, offering you congratulations on winning a big prize. Okay, you're a winner, says it right on there. In order for you to get that prize, the email or the paperwork tells you that you need to send in a check for something, or a credit card payment, or a gift card. And normally it's for either taxes or shipping and handling or some sort of a fee or customs. Okay, that's what they're going to be asking you for. They are all scams. I found an article called "The Balance Every Day" by Sandra Groshoff, indicating the 12 warning signs of sweepstakes scams. So there are legitimate sweepstakes out there. Okay, so you may get something legitimate. How do you tell if it's legitimate or if it is a fake or a fraud? First, illegitimate sweepstakes demand a payment from you to receive a prize. Okay, so if you get a sweepstakes or a lottery or notification that you've won a prize, the illegitimate ones are asking you to send in a payment for something, shipping and handling, taxes, customs, before you will get your big prize. Okay. Scam sweepstakes will tell you you won a prize in a contest that you never entered. Okay, so if you just get something in the mail that says, oh, you know, the seed company is giving me $1,000 and I don't remember entering into that sweepstakes, that's illegitimate. Sweepstakes scams and other types of scams will send you a check in the mail. How many of you have gotten a random check in the mail from something? It looks like a real check. Yep. Those are scams. Sweepstakes do them a lot. And this article goes on to say that you don't get the money when you go to cash it because it's not a real check. But cashing a fraudulent check is actually a crime against you. So you're trying to negotiate a check that's fraudulent that you believe to be real in hopes that you're going to win the sweepstakes prize, and you can actually be subject to criminal liability. Some of these sweepstakes scams will instruct you to wire money, and there's two main ways that money is being asked for you from right now. One is Western Union. Have you all heard of Western Union? It's when you go to a shop or a place online and you can send money across the world. The reason Western Union is utilized so heavily in scams is because it's largely untraceable. So it's almost, you can set up any kind of fake profile. You can go into any Western Union branch, give the guy, $100 and say, send it off to wherever. And whoever asked you to do that is going to be untraceable. There's a new scam related to this though, where the con artist is asking you through the sweepstakes or through another con to go to Walmart or to another store and buy something called Green Dot Money Pack cards. How's that for a mouthful? And what these basically are is you go to the store, you load up money onto this card, and then the sweepstakes person or the fraudster is calling you or sending you something in the mail and saying to you, give me the number on that card. If you give me the number on that card, you will get your big prize. What they actually have done is just access that card electronically and stolen the money that you put on there. Sweepstakes scam pressure you to act in a hurry. You only have 12 hours to get this in. You only have 3 days to get this in. And they do that on purpose because they want to get you to act fast before their fraudulent check, you find out that it's not real and it bounces, or you get smart to it and you realize that you're being scammed. So there's pressure on you to act quickly. That's one way to tell, am I being scammed? Sometimes they'll ask for your bank or credit cards to receive your prize. We'll send it right to your bank account. We'll send it right to your credit card. Okay. And you think, gosh, I'm going to get $600. I'm going to give them my bank account or my credit card number. That is illegitimate. One thing I found very interesting in this article, though, is that legitimate sweepstakes actually will ask for your social security number to process a payment. I found that shocking and confusing. So the ticket to this is, if someone asks you for your credit card number, your bank account, always say no. If someone asks you for your social security number, I would still say no, but then come check with one of us and we'll help you vet that to see if it's real. I found that very interesting. Another way that you can tell it might be a sweepstakes, illegitimate sweepstakes or lottery, is if the win is from an actual lottery that you never entered into. Okay. The article says very clearly, and I agree with this, it is impossible to win a lottery without buying a lottery ticket. So if somebody sends you something that says you've hit the lottery, and you never bought a ticket or you never bought a raffle, that's a clue that this is probably fraud. It then points out that if you won the lottery, normally no one's calling you. Normally you're looking at your ticket and you're going somewhere to verify if you've won or lost. So they're not going to really call you. And sometimes I guess sweepstakes are sending out, or lotteries are sending out from foreign lotteries. So you've won the Pakistani, Day World Prize. Nearly impossible because they operate the same way. You'd have to have been in Pakistan and bought a lottery ticket. Just be very cautious of that. These next couple, I think some of you are really starting to catch on to. One of the ways you can identify a scam, whether it be a sweepstakes or a lottery or mail or online, they don't use your name. They say, congratulations, winner. Congratulations, sir or ma'am. And this is because they go out and buy these thousands of person mailing lists and just need an address and can just send it to the winner. So if it doesn't have your name on it and it's addressed to, dear postal customer, congratulations, you won $1 million, you should assume that that's junk. Throw it in the garbage. Sweepstakes often scam as government organizations. So we've talked about different things. For example, the National Sweepstakes Board is telling you that you've won a prize. There's no such thing as a National Sweepstakes Board. Okay, it's not even a real organization. But many of us are trusting in the government. So just be careful of that. Another clue that something that is coming in the mail is a sweepstakes fraud is if it comes by bulk mail. This is very important. You look at the postage on it. If it has first class mail, like a stamp, or if it comes via FedEx or UPS, there's a higher chance that it is legitimate. If it comes with bulk rate pricing, that should just go right in the garbage. Okay, that's going to be a scam. And the last, and I know a lot of you are getting very smart on this with not only written mailers, but in your emails especially. Oftentimes, scams contain a lot of typos. Okay? So you'll see repetitive typos. You'll see words that are spelled incorrectly. I think you've sent me some things like that. Poor English. The article stated that a lot of these fraudsters are coming from out of the United States or out of Canada, outside of the United States, outside of Canada, might not have English as their first language. You'll see punctuation issues. They said if you see repeated grammatical issues, spelling issues, punctuation issues, that's a very strong sign of fraud or illegitimate sweepstakes or types of scams. So those are some things to really look out for. Now, how many of you think that you've had something like this come in your mail or in your email? I know I have. You know, it's happening. It's happening a lot. So that's a scam to look out for, and that's the number one type of scam that affects the oldest age population here at Woodland Pond. The next type that is exceedingly common in our age demographic here at Woodland Pond, and I know many of you have dealt with this yourselves, are tech and customer support scams. So I want to explain this. This is, again, very computer-based. So the last category that I just discussed tends to be mail-based, you know, that comes from the post office. These next ones tend to be email-based, phone-based, or text-based. So this is something that's coming into you electronically or on the phone. These are some of the common things. You get a call, an email, or a text message that says, for example, your computer has a virus, or your Amazon card or Amazon account or credit card has been used fraudulently, and you need to act now to protect yourself. Someone may contact you and say your internet is down, or flash up something on your screen that says your internet is down and we will help you restore it. Or another example is you need to purchase this protection plan, and something will pop up on your screen that says purchase this protection plan now. Protect yourself from fraud. Protect yourself from viruses. So you reply. And sometimes you reply, and worse, sometimes you let the caller into your computer, log into your computer. And we'll go through some of these. I'm going to give you some examples. We had a situation like this at Woodland Pond in 2021. We were able to disclose this with the permission of the resident that was affected. She got taken by one of these types of scams, which I will recap again for you in a moment, for more than $400,000. That money is gone. That money is gone. So this is, I'll give you two examples that have happened here at Woodland Pond in the last couple of months. A woman got a phone call from her banking institution, she thought. Her credit card or Amazon, was one of the two. And they said, there's fraud on your account. And she thought, great. The fraud department is calling me to protect me. I'm so excited. I've got a great fraud protection, because they called her and said, you've got fraud on your account and you need to take the following actions right now to fix it. So she's in the headset of, all right, we're going to fix the fraud that's on my account. I'm excited. I've got protection on my account. They're going to help me protect this. And you go into it trusting, because most of us are inherently trusting. And they say, in order to fix this, we need you to first, she was instructed to go to her computer and log into a website that they provided to her over the phone. She has them on the phone. She logs into the website. They say, type this, this, this. She types this, this, this. And all of a sudden, she can see the mouse moving on her computer. They got into her computer, which she was then able to access. She had them walk through getting her bank accounts opened. And initially, one of the things that they said initially was, you know, because this was going on, there was a number of phone calls. It was going over a period of time. And after she did that initial letting them into the computer by logging in, they contacted her and said, okay, we think we've got the perpetrators. They're overseas. And in order for us to capture them, We need you to send bait money. So this bait money is going to help us get back all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that are lost. So you give us this bait money, and then it was all a scam. She gave them access to get into the account. They wiped everything out. Everything. In talking with attorneys and with the banking institution, she has little to no recourse because she voluntarily let them into her computer. Nobody, she just walked them right through into the computer. And it's an honest mistake because all of us are thinking we want to be protected from fraud. And this is where we can't be trusting. It's terrible, but we cannot be trusting. You have to take action and take skepticism to protect your assets. Christy told me last week, her mother-in-law got a phone call. Well, let me back up. Her mother and father-in-law started to have internet interruptions. Not around here. They're a little bit far away. So they started having internet interruptions, and they couldn't figure out why. And then they got a message that came through, I think on the text or a phone call, and it was the company that they get their internet through saying, "You're having an internet outage." And they said, "We sure are." So they thought, great, this company is calling to protect me. They're going to help me get my internet back up. And they were told the same thing, basically as our resident. You have to log into this site. We need to go to this bank account so we can withdraw the money to get your internet reset. And they were skeptical. So they didn't follow the steps. And they ended up researching this. They either communicated the Federal Trade Commission or the FCC. That company or that scam that happened, somehow perpetrators had actually intentionally interrupted their internet access. I don't know. Cassidy asks, how's that possible? The answer is everyone is so sophisticated. They're so sophisticated. So somehow someone hacked into their system, and probably many others, intentionally made the internet service intermittent and then fed off of that to try to get money out of them, to get it fixed. It is beyond belief how sophisticated these things are. And I cannot emphasize enough how skeptical, unfortunately, we all have to be. Both of those examples seem like someone is out there trying to protect me. The fraud department's calling me. This company's calling me and saying your internet is out. We all know Spectrum. Do you think Spectrum would ever call us if our internet was out and say, your internet's out, let me help you fix it?
Never.
Did you? Interesting. So, you can just see how sophisticated these are. And it's really unfortunate. Many of us do online banking now. Okay, many of us do banking through the computer, and it's very convenient. And I don't want to scare anybody from doing that, but I want you to really be thinking about if you get a phone call, if you get a text, if you get a message saying, help me log into your banking information, you've got to not act on it. You have to just not do it. And you're going to hear me say this at the end of this presentation. We are all here to help you. And I will tell you, several of you and all of you that are watching or listening online on the TV, you're coming to me all the time now with your fraud questions, and I appreciate it so much. Every day, I am confounded with how sophisticated these things are that are coming in. I consider myself to be relatively well-educated, pretty astute, and very skeptical. And half of the things that I'm looking at, I can't tell if they are real or fake. IRS things, stimulus checks, child tax credits, look like they're on White House letterhead and they're telling you about a new program that's coming out from COVID. It is so sophisticated. And all I can tell you is you're never going to be able to figure them all out on your own. That's what we're here for. Please draw from us and please be skeptical. The next type of scam are imposter business scams, okay? And this is one of the hardest to discern, okay? Again, this is very focused on online, and these are very hard to identify. So this is It's relying on your trustworthiness to buy something online. They use very sophisticated graphics, accounts. They look like legitimate business vendors. Seemingly comprehensive business plans and realistic customer reviews. So this is where you're shopping online or you're online and you're looking at something. Where this pops up the most, for those of you that use the internet for news, for example, if you look at your news, let's say you go to whatever, I'll use CNN or Fox News as an example because I want to be equally for all parties. But if you're on either one of those websites, if you look to the right-hand side, there's probably an ad in the lower right corner, somewhere on the right-hand side or in the middle. And the ad, coincidentally, is going to be very similar to something you might have searched for. So let's say you were searching for dog food and you were looking for a specific holistic brand of dog food on Google. The next day when you're on CNN.com, an ad is going to pop up for a different type of dog food. Okay, that's clickbait. They're advertising to you using artificial intelligence that they collected from your Google searches. But a lot of the times when you click on those ads saying, oh, I was just looking for this type of dog food, they're illegitimate businesses. And they will take you down a path of purchasing something that you are never going to get. And you are going to send them money and you're going to lose that money. These include other things like fake insurance policies, opportunities for debt consolidation, investment returns, online sellers of non-existent goods, real estate scams. I will tell you, I got taken. I have not told my husband, but I got taken to the tune of $75. I attributed it initially to a COVID interruption. So last year I was supposed to go away on a trip before COVID hit. So I was getting ready and I was on social media and an ad for an online bathing suit retailer popped up. And I thought, my gosh, those models have nice figures and they have beautiful bathing suits. And I love those bathing suits. I'm going to order 3 of them. So I did. I never looked to see if it was a legitimate business. I had never heard of it before. I saw beautiful pictures. I clicked through. They must have had 75 different bathing suits, 75 photographs of models. They were beautiful. So I don't know, $94 later or something, the bathing suits never came. And you know how when you order something online, for those of you that do, you get an email confirmation? Well, I'd seen the email confirmation come through, but I never really looked at it. So when the bathing suits never came, initially I attributed it to COVID, but then I was really getting ticked off because $94 is not chump change. So I went back to the online email confirmation. There was no way to contact customer service. There was no way to reply to the confirmation, and that money was just gone. Now, fortunately, I had done that through PayPal, which adds a little bit more protection to my own bank account. So I didn't do it directly from my bank account, so they didn't have any way to further the loss, but the loss that I incurred, that I paid, was gone. Just paid to an illegitimate company. And to this day, I have friends and myself that gets ads from that same company that pop up on my Facebook. So word to the wise. So with those, you just really need to be very careful. And I would highly recommend making sure that you really look for the company. Don't pull what Michelle did. Make sure that you look up and make sure that there's legitimate other ways that you can find that company, and just try to protect yourself in that way. So the next type of scam, which I think a lot of you have probably heard about, this is a little bit older, but still pervasive. This is the imposter grandchild or friend scam. You see, I have a picture of a payphone there because in my brain, every time someone says that they have this scam happen to them, the person is in a payphone calling. But many of you have reported to me that you have fallen victim to this scam. So this is where you have picked up your phone or picked up an email and someone says to you, "Hi, Graham," or something. This is your grandson, but it's maybe like modeled. Maybe you can't really hear it that well. And he says, "I was traveling to Tucson and I'm stuck on the side of the highway and I need you to send me $1,000 to Western Union." And you're like, doesn't really sound exactly like my grandson, but I can hear the highway sounds in the background. And yes, I have a grandson. And I don't know if he was traveling, but I need to help my grandson. And that's right. That's right. And Bill said, and they said, by the way, don't tell my parents. That's always a big part of it. Please don't tell my parents. And you send them the $1,000. Some other examples of this. Some of you may have gotten an email from thinking it was from me, from Michelle Grimolia. You know, I send you all things on your listservs, right? Your notifications. My email gets hacked all the time. Sarah will tell you. Emails go out internally to our Woodland Pond staff, not from the Woodland Pond email server. Someone has hacked my email and made a fake Michelle Grimolia email, and it might be a little bit different. Like they might have my name spelled a little bit differently. And it'll say, Sarah, I need you to do a task. And then either call me at this number or click on this link. And these guys know I don't ask, that's not the syntax that I use. That's not the language that I use. They have gone out to the listserv that I send out to. So some of you may have seen a really strange email coming from me that says, help, I'm stuck in Dubai and I need money. And I know how generous you all are and how much I think you trust me for the most part. So if you get an email from me saying, help, Betsy, I'm stuck in Dubai, please don't send any money to Dubai. I can promise you I'm not going to Dubai right now. Yes, Michelle. Oh, hold on. Let's have the mic so that people can hear.
I was at the college and I got one from my dean asking, said she was stuck and could I send her some money so she could get back to the college? Except she was across the hall from me.
Right.
And I could see her.
Right.
But I was like, wow, this is really strange. It doesn't sound like something she would do.
Right.
So I just walked over to her office. She goes, I don't know where that came from.
Right.
You didn't get it from me, but
right. Yeah.
You could have easily fallen for it.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Because honestly, I think what happens is they can tell the hackers are so sophisticated that they can tell somebody that you frequently get an email from, like you probably got a lot of emails from your boss. So they were probably able to get into your account somehow, figure out that this person sends you a lot of emails. You probably have a good relationship, and they mask that person and they think, I'm going to get you. They are so sophisticated. So you have to look really closely at those. And those grandpa scams, we hear about it really all the time.
I had absolute proof of this scam business. I got a phone call from a young man who said he was my grandson. And I said, which of my grandsons are you? I don't actually have a grandson.
Oh.
I said, and what is your name? I'm kind of forgetful. And he gave me a name. And I said, oh, and what do you want? He made the speech. And before I hung up on him, I said, you're not very good at this. And I hung up. Now, to add to it, about 3 months later, I got a phone call from the very same voice. And he said, he didn't say grandson. He said, I am your nephew and I need money. And I said, you aren't any better at this than you were last time. And I hung up. So you have to be so skeptical. And what they hope is that they'll hit a nerve of a loving grandmother. But you have to ask them very specifically if you want to pursue it. Otherwise, just hang up.
Just hang up. That's the message of the day. Just hang up. Throw the mail away, delete the stuff, hang up. If it's really your grandson and he's really in need, they will find a different way to find out. We have a resident here that has taken very good advice, has participated in a lot of these types of scam prevention seminars and so forth. Her family established a safe word. So everyone in their family has the safe word. So if she was to get a call from someone saying, it's your grandson, she's going to say, okay, grandson, what's our safe word? Normally, because the con artists are hearing this more and more, they'll just hang up. Otherwise, they'll say the wrong word, and this resident knows that's not our family safe word. So that's one way that you can protect yourself, at least from that specific scam. But if it doesn't really sound exactly like the grandchild that you know, and it doesn't sound like it's a legitimate thing, just hang up. Just hang up. I know that there's a fear that if you hang up on someone that's doing this to you, then maybe they'll come after you. Sometimes people tell me that. I'm afraid that if I piss these people off, they're going to come after me because they're trying to scam me out of this money, and I'm afraid of making it worse. So you'll worry about what to do. They are not coming after you. These are somebody probably not even in the United States of America. They're calling a million people a day. All they do 24 hours a day is just call around the clock to see who they can scam. They are not coming after you. So I do not want you to ever be fearful of that. That if you hang up on one of these people or someone that you're fearful of is a scamster, just hang up. They are not going to come and harm you. They're not going to come here.
Another thing that can be done is to keep that person on the phone long enough to be able to write down the phone number, and then you give it to the police.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another good point. And I think a lot of times now, most of our phones have some sort of caller ID. I think that you've all heard me say, and many people say, that if you don't recognize the number, just let it go to voicemail. And if it's somebody that really wants to get in touch with you, they'll leave you a message and you can call them back. There's no reason you have to pick up your phone. And it's sad. It's so sad. Just as sad as it is that we have to be skeptical of things, you can always call the person back. And I always recommend that. Even if you got a call from the fraud department from your credit card saying, we're trying to protect you, hang up, go to the back of your own credit card, get that 800 number, and then call them. You know, you have ways you can protect yourself, even if you think it might be a little bit, legitimate. Go ahead, Michelle.
Years ago, when I first got my Mac, I was having a problem. And so I looked up what I thought was a Mac helpline. I went on the computer and I found one, and they sounded very legitimate. And then they asked to get into my computer, and I got very suspicious, and it was fake.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do now is I don't look online for the number. I look like in the documentation that I got from the company and call them directly.
Yeah, that's a great point. I actually hadn't really thought about that, but these people are so sophisticated. They know people are going to have problems with their iPhone. They're going to have problems with their Amazon account. There probably are fake numbers all over the place that are, collecting people's information and collecting money. Dorothy?
I'm wondering, there's several pieces of information that I'm wondering, first of all, how do they know we're grandmothers? They would have to know that we're old. And where would they get that? And then the second one is I often get a call from a familiar number. For example, my hairdresser is closed on Mondays, and the hairdresser's phone number comes up and I answer it. And then I think, oh I made a mistake. But it seems like they really have to know more about us before they call us. Oh, I also had the grandson one.
Yeah.
And I had just woken up from a nap when the phone rang. So I fell for it, and I said, I said, you don't sound like my grandson. Which one are you? And I didn't say, I should have said that. And I should have said, why didn't you call me by the name you usually call me?
Right.
But when you're groggy,
Right.
you can get caught in these things.
Right.
But the main question I have is that one about how do they know more about us than we think they could?
I think that you're giving them too much credit. I think that they just, your age and income demographic and your net worth, you might have filled out something on a cereal box 100 years ago for General Mills, and they know approximately what your household net worth is, and they know your age, and they're just basing it on probability. Chances are that if you are 70 years old, there's more likely a chance that you have a grandchild than you don't. So Frida just said, she has no grandsons. And I don't know if you have a nephew, but they got Frida on the grandson and she didn't have any grandsons. So it's not that they know you per se. It's that they're taking the chances of probability and they're saying, okay, this person is, and I think you all know, or if you don't, you realizing that lists with your name on them are probably all over the internet. Voter rolls. I've had so many, visits from residents on different things. One of the ones I'm seeing now is the voter rolls are public. We learned this through research. Getting mailers with your name on them from different solicitation organizations that clearly had to have come from the voter rolls because of the information that's there. That's public. if you're an alumni from any college or university, or you were on the faculty, your name is on a list somewhere. So they could just run that whole faculty list and they could say, hi, we're calling all the faculty from such and such. Would you like to make a donation in honor of that college or university? I guarantee they're not affiliated. You know, I graduated from the University of Massachusetts, and their alumni department used to call for donations, and they had so many people skeptical that it was a, you know, fraudulent request, because our names are all over. You can go on the internet and find out that I went to University of Massachusetts. So people would be, you know, an imposter saying we're taking alumni, you know, contributions from University of Massachusetts. Fake. So they totally switched their system, and they, you know, they sent it out to us and told us, you know, how they're doing it now. But there are scavengers, and I want you to just picture millions of people are doing this across the world all day and all night long. This is all they're doing. They're preying on every individual and just trying to get whatever pennies they can. They don't need to have gainful employment, because this keeps their pockets lined and then some. Go ahead, Ina.
2 years ago, after my husband, after I finally got over my husband passing away and I was ready to hit the dating market again, I signed up with Our Time,
Mhm.
a reputable dating service.
Yep. Yep.
And I was catfished, not once, but twice.
Yep.
And I didn't fall for it. I was savvy enough to, you know, to know what to look for, and, you know, leave them in wherever in the world they were, and say to the guy, you did it to me once and you did it to me twice.
Yeah.
But it hurt. It hurt.
Well, and Our Time actually is one of the highest for catfishing. It's for people that are basically retirement age or older. I think it's 55 and up. And it's designed specifically for that demographic of people, very highly susceptible. Now, at the beginning of my presentation, I talked about some of the characteristics of a romance scam. Did you experience a lot of those same things? They moved quickly, they wanted money, they, you know, made it seem like, you know, they were somebody so great and they might have been somebody so different.
Yeah, and he could never come.
You never come.
And we could
Yep.
never get together, and
Yeah.
all the answers and everything
Yep.
was always pat, and
Yeah.
it was always.
So that was not a good cat. I mean, that was very good of you. You were very astute. But yes, that is being catfished. Michelle, did you have something you wanted to add? And then we'll
I
go
do.
to Ronnie.
I just have a question. On the iPhone, you can go in and block a caller, but it doesn't work. Is there something else you're supposed to do? Because I've blocked the same people 20 times.
Can you pull
in a
the mic
row.
up a little bit? Because I think
I've blocked people on the iPhone when they called me because I knew it was, you know, not real, but it doesn't work. I don't know how to if there's a way to fix that.
what I think happens is they use many, many, many different types of numbers. So they might have, you know, a dozen numbers in the same kind of string, and then one of the digits might be different. They're getting around those types of things, because I know that, you know, I'm sure a lot of you now are seeing a local area code or a local cellular exchange. So I have an 845416 number on my cell with 4 digits. And I used to be in the case 2 years ago that if I got something from that, I figured it was somebody in my exchange, it's somebody local. And they're scams. They're the, you know, warranty department for my car. Scam, scam, scam. Ronnie, did you want to add something?
You had mentioned before about just don't answer a call if you don't know it. And I do that. But sometimes I get no caller ID,
Mhm.
and I usually just hang up, and it turns out to be the hostess desk.
Oh,
So can you ask them to use a phone where it shows the phone number?
Cassidy, do you have any information on that?
It's happened twice.
So we are switching phone companies. So I'm hoping when we do that will be displayed on the caller ID, that it will at least say Woodland Pond.
Okay. So I'm going to move on just in the interest of time. The last type of very common scam for this age demographic is the imposter government scam. Oops. So I think you've all heard me say these following organizations will never, ever, ever call you. Okay. The IRS, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security Administration, disability, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. They're never going to call you. If they call you and leave a message, do not call them back. If you get a mailer from one of these, it may be legitimate and it may not. Let us help you figure that out. Okay, let us help you figure that out, because they are now starting to come across with illegitimate from these organizations. Go ahead, Ronnie.
In addition to that is the U.S. Mail Service. I got a couple of texts saying that we have your package, and please text back United States Postal Service, whatever. Well, what I did was I took that into the post office, and I said, "Is this real?" They said, "Absolutely not. The post office will never text you."
Okay.
So you
we'll
can
add that to the
you can
list.
add that to the list.
So we talk about that a lot. I think a lot of people are starting to learn that. And I do have some good news. You guys are starting to get very good at watching out for scams. Very good. In all of the articles that I read articles from the FBI, the FTC, this particular one, I have the citation in the back. Right now, seniors are 94% more likely than any other age demographic to report to the FBI or to some other reporting entity an attempted fraud where you have not gone to the point of financial loss. So you are very good at this, more so than actually younger age demographics. And I didn't bring the other age demographics into this, but younger age demographics are getting taken more for financial losses more often than seniors. So seniors are getting attempted more often, but younger age demographics are falling for it more. So kudos to you. Keep it up. And you can see here, the Federal Trade Commission says this might be attributed because seniors are identifying fraudulent activity early and reporting it right away before they lose money. So keep it up. That is very good. I was pleased and surprised, honestly, to see that. Dorothy, did you have something that you wanted to say? I'll let you go first. Okay, Dr. DeVivier, then Dorothy.
I had the company Septrum as a special way. If you want to, any phone, is a call you on the phone, and any phone coming from a computer call is immediately shut off.
Oh, okay.
You don't even have to, it's free,
Wow.
and you don't have to do anything.
How did you do that through?
I think you have to call the Septrum, give her
Spectrum.
give her your telephone, your papers, things, and then it tell you what to do.
Okay. So what
Because,
Dr. DeVivier was saying is that through Spectrum, he's got a special setup on his phone system that if a computer of any kind attempts to call his phone, it automatically doesn't go through. And oftentimes when you have that phone call coming in that says, "This is the warranty department," that's not coming from a person sitting with a phone. That's coming from a computer that knows how to make a phone call. So Dr. DeVivier found a way to block that. Go ahead, Cassidy.
So a lot of you have access to your Spectrum account via online, and there is a way to add numbers to the call blocker there as well.
Okay.
And if anybody's interested, I can show them.
Yeah, we should probably figure out how to do that too. Okay, good.
I may have, maybe you gave this answer. My hearing is poor, as you know. I tried to report fraud several times, and the police, the only way that I knew how to do it, they said, call the police. The police in New Paltz don't know what to do with it. So who is it that the seniors?
It's normally the Federal Trade Commission. So what I'm going to do is it's either the Federal Trade Commission or the FBI in most cases. FBI gets involved if there are financial losses. FTC gets involved if there aren't. So I will get contact information and I'll put them out in a flyer with the tips. If there are no other questions on that, go ahead, Betsy.
Are you going to talk about scams that come by email? Like the things I've been sending you?
You know, a lot of these actually cross over. Right now, what I started with was the categories of things that are most common to the senior age group that I found through the FTC. But yes, I mean, a lot of these do come through email. Do you want to give an example of one that you might have had? Not really. I can go ahead and do some. So similar things to, I mean, the example that I gave about the fake solicitation from my email, that could be something that can come via an email saying, I need help. That would be a good example. There are a lot looking for contributions, wanting for you to buy something or click on something, or, you know, so when you're getting emails, you should make sure that you always know that they're from a trusted source, and, you know, never give out any information to anybody that you're not 100% confident on. That happens. Okay. So while we're going to try to wrap up here, just a few things to keep in mind and to remain vigilant. And there's something that I left off of here that I'll mention too. And I'm sorry that we have to say this is how humans should be, but in order to protect yourself, this is the reality of how to protect yourself from fraud. But first of all, you should question any company's claims and motives. You've got to be skeptical. Unless it's a company that you've dealt with before and you know you're dealing with that same company again. Like I said, that bathing suit company that I bought from, I did not demonstrate the appropriate amount of skepticism, and I should have. So be skeptical. Never share your personal or financial information over the phone. Don't buy anything from solicitors over the phone. That's a bad idea. Get on as many do not call lists as you can, and then we'll give you some tools as to how to block numbers from Spectrum. Very important, you should be monitoring your credit card and bank accounts, and if you have any issues, make sure that you contact them. But this sentence right here, the small sub-sentence that starts with call, I can't emphasize this enough. Every bank account and every credit card now offers protection in different ways for you, but you need to call them and say, please help me put every type of fraud protection on my account that I can. Because some people don't want to be bothered because some of the fraud protections are multi-factor authentication. You might have to get a text and then an email. But if you really want to protect yourself, if you call your banking institutions and your credit cards and say, I want you to put all available fraud protections on my account, they will tell you what those are and they will help you do that. Every single credit card, every single bank now offers at least some optional fraud protection, and I cannot recommend that enough. And this is also very important. If you do not have a legitimate virus and spam protection software on your computer, and it's not current, and you're a computer user, you need to do this. This is something that you should invest in, okay? I don't honestly know how to tell if someone has one or not. I think we'd have to kind of figure that out, but we can help you if you ask that question. And then these last things, this is just something that I'm just reiterating to you. Just be skeptical. Ask us for help. That's why we're here. You know, you're in a position that you've got a whole slew of people here that want to protect you, not just your health and your happiness and your contentment, but your financial picture. We want to help. Okay, you know us. We want to help you. Please ask. We want to protect you. I don't want you to be embarrassed. The stigma has to go away. You've all just been very forthcoming with your own experiences. So many of you and your neighbors have been taken by fraudsters. It can happen to anyone. It's not to be embarrassed. You come to us, we will help you. We'll help you figure it out. We'll do whatever we can. And we all can fall subject to this. You saw the statistic 2 slides ago. The seniors are doing the best at reporting fraud before it ever turns into financial losses. You could teach us a lesson. So keep it up, but always ask. And we are definitely here to help. And that's what I had. I hope I covered things comprehensively for some of you. And are there any questions or comments that anybody wants to add before we wrap up? Okay, go ahead, Betsy.
I get emails all the time with, which I suspect are spam scams. if I see a large sum of money, I know right away it's to delete it. If it has bad language in it, improper grammar, I know how to delete it. I get emails saying that they have a business opportunity they want for me to
Yep.
join in them.
Yep.
Delete, delete, delete.
Yep. It's delete, delete, delete. And I think we did a good job covering this today. We'll have some materials around for you, and watch out for those romance scams.
Can I just add something before we wrap up?
Yes, Cassidy would like to add something.
Okay. So if you do get an email from somebody and you think it is fraudulent, you should never respond to it. You should never click on any of the attachments or open them.
That's right.
You should mark it as junk and delete it. That should just be the end of it. You don't have to respond to them, nothing like that. Just get rid of it.
That's an excellent point, Cassidy. Thank you. And the most of the data that is in here, I just want to give credit to, came from the Senate Special Committee on Aging, report number 5, senior citizen scam statistics you need to know in 2021. So thank you to the Senate Special Committee on Aging for the data. The U.S. Senate. So thank you all for coming. Yes, Marcia. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I know it's a lot. But